part of the Press Play Podcast Network.
Look up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
This is Jason J. Lewis, the voice of Superman on Justice League Action. This is Mark Wade, writer of Superman Worldwide. You're listening to the Krypton Report.
Welcome to the Krypton Report podcast, now part of the Press Play Podcast Network. We are dedicated to all things related to DC Comics with a strong focus on Superman and all things Kryptonian. We discuss movies, TV shows, games, and of course, comics. I'm your host, Tyler, the Superman of Blue, the Man of Tomorrow, and with me as always, my better half, the man that you love, not Santa Claus, but the other man in red, James. What's up, buddy?
Hey, what's going on? Oh, excuse me.
He's like,
sorry, introduce me, and then I just start getting like,
he's like what's going on?
in my throat.
I'm dying.
Yeah. Don't mind me. I'm just fighting off Metallo.
he's like, look, man, I just saved the city. I put everything. I just wanted the world to stay saved. You know, like I saved
right for a minute.
Can't it just stay saved?
Like I just cleaned up this mess. Can it stay saved for just a minute?
And if you don't know what we're talking about, that's a shame. That is a shame.
Yeah.
Another.
It was referenced. I think we got fairly close.
Oh,
to
we
the
did.
dialogue.
We got really close, if not spot on, between the two of us. But hey, let's talk some news. Let's see what we got some news wise. I got some stuff that we've talked around, stuff I missed. But so Superman and Lois is on another break till the end of April. Dang. But they announced, it's like what, June 21st has been announced as the season finale for this season.
Yes.
So we have that. No, that'll come up faster than we know it, especially considering that it'll come back at the end of, I haven't done the math yet to see if
It'll come back at the end of April. I'm sure we'll have another break,
thinking.
And then we'll get
another break, and then we'll have like the penultimate and the finale, and we'll be like, oh, it's summertime.
Yeah.
So
summertime.
Batgirl, we haven't got anything more about Batgirl other than it has wrapped filming. There was a picture posted of Leslie Grace in her Batgirl costume next to the directors, and it announced that filming has wrapped. So that's cool. But we have no news of any kind of trailer, any kind of release. You know, we've talked about with the movement of the Flash film, what that does for Batgirl, and we got nothing. Also, with Superman and Lois, recently there was a convention that both Tyler and Bitsy were at, and they said that at the end of this season, they will have some sort of addressing the issues with Supergirl, of why it's not being mentioned or anything like that. It will somehow Supergirl will be addressed, acknowledged in the end of this season. So,
well, that'll be a good
thing.
That'll
be cool.
We've always wondered where that's set. I mean, we finally got confirmation of like post-crisis.
We've got post-crisis,
or crisis and post-crisis, and Natalie being, caught there in limbo for 6 months.
And then we also, we had the Diggle crossover where Diggle showed up and he talked about working with Oliver and blah blah blah. And so we know that stuff happened.
Yeah.
Oh goody. This is interesting.
Yeah, we've got loose threads.
Yeah, we have loose
to the rest of the Arrowverse.
Loose threads that if you're a continuity person like me that drive you crazy. There's going to be an Aqualad series on HBO produced by Charlize Theron, based off an Aqualad book novel that I forgot to write the title down for. And you know what I say about that? Okay, we'll see.
I'm fairly certain that came out within the last couple of years. They've done a lot of those young adult novels or young adult graphic novels that they've come out with.
And only one I've read was the Victor and Nora one, the Mr. Freeze one. That one was cool.
Okay. I have not read any of those.
I was just on a big Mr. Freeze kick at the time. And Brian loves Mr. Freeze, so I wanted to read it before him to rub it in his face. Let's see. There's supposed to be a big announcement coming about Wonder Woman 3. There was a thing posted on Forbes today, so the idea is that we'll be getting Wonder Woman 3 sooner than what we initially thought. It doesn't surprise me, considering that Patty Jenkins lost her Star Wars movie. The Cleopatra movie she was going to do with Gal fell through. The only thing she has right now is Wonder Woman. And you know what? This is not to sound mean or anything, but I think Patty Jenkins will do Wonder Woman 3, and then she'll kind of disappear and go back to making like indie stuff and maybe like high-end TV. And that's not to be negative on her. I just feel like unless she's like scores big with Wonder Woman 3, I feel like that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, it's a big difference between Wonder Woman and Wonder Woman 1984.
That's why you have to put the post-crisis.
It's a huge shift in quality and everything, and in a lot of respects. And part of that being like, and the hard part of that being is they had a great cast of characters. Gal did great in Wonder Woman, and she's been fantastic in her other appearances. And Chris Pine was a highlight of Wonder Woman.
Heck yeah, it was.
And then in this they've got Pedro Pascal and Kristen Wiig. So, I mean, they had a great cast of characters, and the entire movie had a serious dip in quality and ability of Wonder Woman. Like,
yeah.
If anything specifically needs to kind of correct course a little bit, it's what they did there with Wonder Woman.
Don't worry. I think come December, we're going to do our Wonder Woman retrospective / rewatch and commentary, and that'll be
fun. Well, I probably won't watch it again until then.
I don't have the desire to watch it again. That's the thing, and that's sad.
Yeah, because the first one, I'll watch it all day long. I mean, it fits right in there with all the rest of my DCEU movies: Man of Steel, BVS, Wonder Woman, Zack Snyder's Justice League. Maybe one day we'll get the Ayer cut wedged in there.
But yeah, so Wonder Woman 3, awesome. And if it's not Wonder Woman Returns to Themyscira, then they don't know what they're doing. Anyways, we got a new Super Pets poster. This was cool. It had a bunch of the pets and the heroes on it, but it wasn't all the heroes. Like Cyborg wasn't there. That was kind of a bummer.
Cyborg with the afro.
He wasn't on the poster, but it was cool that we got the poster. And they're hyping up and starting to do some promoting and marketing for it. Like, I think it'll be really good. And I know that talking with some people on Twitter and stuff, like, people are excited for this. Fans are excited for something DC to take their kids to. You know, we talk about things like you have to have something for the kids and for the families to go to together, or you're really missing a market. So, and Super Pets hopefully will be, the League of Super Pets will be in that. But the poster looks cool. I really hope that we can start getting some merch for it. Because I'm kind of curious what kind of merch we might get. Because I want a cool crypto collar if they make one. And if they make a figure of Superman in crypto, I want that too. So,
absolutely. I like the suit they gave Superman in the movie.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet, isn't it?
Yeah. It's very Fleischer reminiscent.
That's why we like it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. You know, I just took the kids to see Sonic this weekend.
And it was awesome.
Oh, it was great. Yeah. It was really good. I laughed out loud multiple times.
I'm going to go on a limb here and say that the Sonic series is the best video game movie adaptations.
Oh yeah, I mean, I only watched one episode of Halo, and that was pretty good, but I haven't seen anything else yet.
Okay, so I'm on episode 2, and all I'm going to say about Halo, I didn't play the game religiously. I played it a couple of times, and I feel like there's something missing in the show. Like, I just feel like Halo should be a movie. Like, I know it sounds weird, but like, it should just be a one big story, awesome action piece. It doesn't need to be a drawn out story. It needs to be just
Well, it's got like at least half a dozen games.
Exactly.
So, it's to the point
you just need to make it a movie series. Because I feel like it's the slow part that you're just like, I'm not here to watch two people talk. I do think that this isn't the Halo podcast, but we're just going on a tangent. I do think that how the first episode ended should have been more into episode 2. I think the first episode should have been like, this isn't the Mandalorian, but like, it should have been Master Chief more with his helmet on the whole time. Maybe he takes it off, but we don't see his face. It's kind of teased. Build up more of an interest in this character. Build up a little bit more of the side characters. And then what happens at the end of episode 1, I really feel like should have been episode 2. We should have got a little bit more action, I think, in episode 1 than we did, but that's neither here nor there. We should have been a little bit more world building before we jumped into the story of
just the war between the Covenant and humanity.
Before Master Chief goes rogue, and then we're gonna spend time with him rogue. Like we should have a whole episode of like him and his team, and just really getting to know them together. So the storyline of the first episode should have been 2 episodes. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. Sonic, though, definitely, I think probably the best and most successful video game to feature, to film, to TV that we've ever had. I mean, it's very true to the games, but also like wholly original. Yeah. And, it's just, it's funny. It's, heartwarming. It's emotional. And the cast of characters is great.
I'm the Donut Lord. We could go on. Me and Solomon are going to do a Patreon special all about the Sonic movies because he loves them. Let's see. Talking about casting here. I have 2 casting things here. One, I lost my notes on, but Carrie Kelly has been cast for the Gotham Knights series, and now Stephanie Brown has been cast for the Gotham Knights series. Now, with that casting, I posed this question to Brian the other day. There is never, with all the TV shows that we've had since Arrow, we have never got double casting of a hero before. Like, you've never had, like, the same hero existing on 2 different shows. Other than that weird Superman thing they're trying to do on Naomi, but that actually hasn't been a full character yet. Until now. Because Stephanie Brown was on Batwoman. She was in an episode of Batwoman in season 2, I believe. Yeah. Not 3, 2.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain too.
And I've told you this in our chat, but Batwoman and Legends have not been picked up for another season. I kind of feel they're going to cancel Batwoman and put all their eggs in the one basket behind the Bat property with this Gotham Knights series.
Yeah.
Because they have now Carrie Kelly and Stephanie Brown. And like when we first talked about this show, when it was first announced, it was going to not be even characters we really knew. Now they're dialing into characters that we know more. And they've cast Two-Face for Gotham Knights. And this is one we didn't get a chance to talk about. Misha Collins, our good old friend Castiel, has been cast as Harvey
from
Dent.
Supernatural.
Two-Face. And that's a big deal.
That's a big get on the CW side, I think. You know, Castiel was on that show for a very long time.
I mean, he's a great actor. So I'm excited to see what he does with Harvey Dent / Two-Face. Also being that Two-Face is my favorite Batman villain, and I feel we've never had a really great Two-Face. Like Aaron Eckhart was good, but he was dead before he even got to begin.
Yeah. Well, this is fantastic actually, because it's a show, so we get a little bit of that long form storytelling. We possibly get to see multiple visits of that character. And Batwoman, you know, just dropped season 3 on HBO Max. And we actually began watching it tonight after we rewatched Superman and Lois. And I hadn't watched season 3 yet. So the idea that all of the supervillain weapons have been locked up for almost 20 years kind of, you know, lends credence to the idea that, you know, maybe even this Gotham Knights show, when they're talking about characters farther down the line, like Stephanie Brown and like Carrie Kelly, and the idea that they were talking about the legacy characters for this show, children of heroes or villains and stuff like that.
But the fact they already used Stephanie Brown is what throws it off for me. You already used the character. And she was older because she was flirting with Batwing. But I have not watched all of season 3 of Batwoman yet. I didn't start after I came back from like the holiday break, so now it's on HBO. It's on my to-do list.
Yeah, well, it's on HBO. We started it, so usually we tend to watch a lot of stuff through, especially if it's just one season. It's harder when you're trying to like catch up on an entire show. Yep. When you have to watch 6, 7, 8 seasons of a show, and it's not sitcom length if they're not like 22-minute episodes, you know? If you're trying to watch like Game of Thrones from beginning to end, that's a chore because that's a lot of 1-hour episodes.
Yes, it is. You might as well just sit back and plug in and have some popcorn. But that's all I got for news. You got anything? Other than the Batman drops Monday the 18th on HBO Max.
I would say that's about the only other news that I can think of.
All right.
We're very close to that. Jamie said she's like, oh, and then we can finally talk about it. She said she was proud of me for not talking to her about the movie.
I'm proud.
Until she sees it.
I'm proud of you. Because I can watch it again with Jania and like watch it and talk about it as we watch it because we're in the privacy of our own home. But let's jump into some Superman and Lois.
Hey, we're going to press pause and hear a few words from our other podcasts on Press Play Podcast Network.
Hello, Brooks here with the Books with Brooks monthly book club podcast. Here's how Books with Brooks works. We read one book a month and then we talk about it. Classics like Stephen King's The Shining, debut novels like We Are the Brennans by Tracy Lang, and tons of other compelling, life-changing stories, one book and 1 month at a time. So come read along with us and then listen in.
This is Dan Jurgens, and if you want to have a good time, keep listening to the Krypton Report.
Remember to check out Krypton Report on all social media platforms. Go to linktree.com/Krypton Report. You find all of our information right there. If you want to help Krypton from exploding, join our $1 a month Patreon. That's right. For $1 a month, you can be a Patreon member and get exclusive extra bonus content of commentaries from our different DC movies, as well as conversations on anything that we feel like. Could be current events, could be current movies. Usually it's current movies, or just a good old-fashioned chat. Check it out. Patreon.com/Krypton Report.
So Superman and Lois. We love this show. And this episode is called 30 Days and 30 Nights. All I could think of was 30 Days of Night.
Yeah, that's what I saw first.
This episode starts, and I don't have my notes in front of me because my room's a mess thanks to my children.
This episode. Well, the episode begins with Allie in the DOD.
Yeah, and it's her getting free because they took Lucy where she helped Allie, and they fixed Bizarro's suit for Allie to wear to cross over, and Superman flies to stop her, but doesn't show up in time, and then he flies in to wherever she is, and we see him like just take off, and it looks like it's like tearing his suit as he flies through the portal, and then the whole episode, that's it, he's gone. So basically and what was crazy about this episode to me is nobody's asking, hey, where's Clark? Where's Clark been?
Well, I mean, the only thing that people know Clark. We know that. People know Clark. But the only thing Clark was doing was coaching football, and the rest of the season's been canceled.
Yeah, but I mean, Lana's not like she's having her big mayoral race. You know, it's voting time.
Where's her best friend?
Yeah, where's Clarky? You know? And that's
I know she's got a lot going on, but yeah.
And that was the one thing in this episode that kind of threw me, was just like nobody cares about Clark.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, poor guy.
Like Sarah's not asking her boyfriend, hey, your dad hasn't been around for like a month.
Let's just hold off on before I rip Sarah a new one. Okay. Man, my phone was updating. I sent you a hold on.
Something on Twitter.
Yeah, it was someone on Twitter posted. I was like, I just completely agreed with this quote, and I'm going to pull it up right now. And it was about the episode, and it just kind of summed it up. And hopefully, there it is. All right. It said, Sarah cheats on Jordan, then expects him to be friends with the other party, doesn't confide in him because of her family issues, but expects him to talk about his family issues, then proceeds to dump him because she is not the center of attention. Mic drop.
Well, that's very true, but I mean, you know, in their last conversation, she says that she can't be second, which is understandable, but he's asking her to be second to something she doesn't know. You know what I mean? Like, I see it a little bit from both. I mean, she's going through a lot. She's definitely going through a lot. And it's impacting her decision and stuff. And he can't tell her what's up, you know, he can't tell her what's going on. They've already been, him and his dad have already been through that.
But I mean,
I'm just glad it's not as bad as, Lana and Clark and Smallville.
Yeah, but I mean,
yet it's too early to tell, but even still.
But what makes me mad is, you know, we go back to the first episode, and they're like, he shows up like, oh, why is he here? Why didn't he call? And, you know, they really make him feel bad that he is all Sarah focused. And Kyle's always been kind of hard on him, but yet Sarah's all about like her new friend and everything. And she's listened to her dad's advice amongst her dad cheating on her mom. And Jordan's like, hey, I have some family things going on and I can't tell you about it. I want to, but I can't tell you right now. And she can't understand like, hey, he's got something going on. Like, she's so wrapped up in herself. That's not a relationship. If she just expects him and demands him to put her first after giving him crap and after the whole, we're just in high school kind of stuff, then he's better off without her. Because
I mean, I agree. I agree.
And you know what? I told Jania, I was like, good thing I wasn't Jordan back then. I was like, because if that would have happened to me, as soon as she would have dumped me right there, I'd be like, you know what? Screw this rally. And I would have used my heat vision, burnt the piano, then just started burning the whole school down and just stood there like, what? What are you going to do about it? Huh? That's right. I got powers. That's right. I'm the son of Superman. And this is some bull crap. Woman, like, Jania looks at me like, calm down, psycho.
Right?
I'm like, I would have been like, I'm burning this mother to the ground.
Well, as long as John Henry's there to put out the fire.
So, I mean, what I loved about this episode was Jordan being active and being, you know, he saved Sarah's dad. That's the big thing, is like, he's the one that saves Sarah's dad from the fire that was burning XK.
Yeah. And he said, and he can't tell her, you know.
You know, and then, you know, we find out that Kyle's got an apartment, which is a crap hole. And he doesn't want to put stuff there because he thinks it's just temporary. And the whole thing is, you know, Lana's back to using Lana Lang for mayor, not Lana Cushing or Cortez. She used Lana Lang on her mayoral campaign. And, you know, the big thing was Sarah saying to her dad, like, basically, it might not be temporary. Because, you know, Sarah goes to her mom after Kyle's hurt and in the hospital, having him stay with them just to keep an eye on it. And Lana's like, no. So, yeah, Kyle's growing a little depression beard. You know, I'm surprised he's not back on the bottle. I feel like that's next, because they've really just, like, torn him down. So I feel like him being back on the bottle's the next thing to happen.
I mean, I think it's a possibility, but it's also a trope.
I feel like we were not in tropes.
Maybe
that's the thing was with Kyle. I feel like, we're not in tropes, and then all of a sudden, we're in tropes this season. Just like Levi said when he was on, he's like, "Man, we talked about how great a character Kyle was," and then the next episode, they're like, "You know what? Nope,
he was cheating on his wife.
He was cheating on Lana."
Yeah,
and we're like, "Man, dude, how you gonna be like that?" And I don't know, but the whole.
I just hope that's not the case. I hope he doesn't go back to the bottle. You know, I hope he's there. I hope he's there for Sarah.
Yeah, and I hope that Jordan just shows up in the night and like heat visions.
And you know, maybe Sophie once in a while.
Sophie, that other daughter they have.
Yeah, the other daughter they have, who was in this episode.
Yeah, it was nice. She actually got some screen time. I'm just like, as a series creator, I'm just like, look, don't be giving people little children if you're not able to keep them in the episodes. Okay? Just don't write them. Don't create them. It just blows my mind. But anyways, so that's kind of Sarah's arc in the episode. Of course, you know, Lana, she wins mayor. That was awesome. I mean, I knew she would. I mean, it just made sense. We've kind of been saying that since the last season, that Lana should be mayor.
Well, yeah. We've been saying that since last season and saw it coming, and the fact that the mayor is just, you know, he's just a sleaze. He's been mayor for how long, and like running uncontested basically. And the city, Smallville, has just gone further into bankruptcy and into
crapper
poverty, and he hasn't been hurting for it.
Politicians and corruption, they go together.
Yep.
What a douche. Let's see, who else? So Jordan, you know, Jordan's using his powers, and of course, John Henry sees Jordan, recognizes him, and tells Lois before Jordan has a chance to tell his mom. Lois goes off and then gets mad.
Which was a nice part of the episode, though, because John was like, "You might want to tell her before she finds out from somebody else." But then by then it's too late.
John is John, his brother, since we have two Johns.
Yes.
And he's like, you know, you're right. And then he decides to tell her right after Lois finds out from John Henry. John Henry, who's been filling in for Superman as much as he can in his suit, because Superman's missing.
Which is getting a lot of news coverage for.
Yeah. Too bad he doesn't have a cousin to help out. But that's neither here nor there at the moment. She's probably off, on some peacekeeping mission, several trillion light years away. Yeah, that's what it is on another planet.
Or another time period.
Oh, yeah.
Like 1,000 years in the future.
That's what she should be. But what did you think about the whole John and Nat storyline? We haven't talked about them. What do you think about them?
It falls in line with Nat's storyline for the rest of the season. She's clearly having a tough time seeing Clark in front of her. She's clearly having a tough time with Lois in front of her and it not being her mother. She has been doing okay. I like the way that Nat and Clark had left it last time we saw them together. This episode, specific time, has a lot of meaning for them. It's the day that she died. So she wants to make waffles, and John Henry kind of is throwing himself into work, to kind of deal with it or not deal with the fact that his wife is dead.
Not only is his wife dead, like I put in this Virginia, their entire world in existence is dead.
Yeah.
So, friends, all family, everything is gone. And I'm like, all of that. And it was her mother's recipe for the waffles. And she couldn't get it, and probably one of the best actings, it was short, was by, I don't know the screw up his name, but Woolley Park, when he's watching, like, the day Nat was born, and just breaks down, and he, tells her, like, he can't ever forget his wife and her mom, and so they take the day to kind of celebrate her life, and I mean...
Yeah, he makes breakfast for dinner. He makes the waffles. And they have a very nice exchange. So yeah, I mean, it was one of the stronger parts of the episode, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Nat and John Henry.
I did think it was really good. And then
I'm gonna like it when they finally make the name Steel stick for him.
Like
I'm gonna like it when that finally happens.
Like, we need a moniker. You need a full name. Steel.
Yeah.
I think one of my favorite parts was, so John Kent gives up Candace as the dealer. And I looked at Jania, I'm like, wow, Ace reporter Lois Lane couldn't have figured this out and put it together of who John was protecting, that it was his girlfriend that was the dealer. Really?
I said the same thing.
I'm like, you screwed this one up, Lois. But, I mean, she's under pressure about Clark. She's with her sister and the whole Allie stuff. And, my favorite character not to like, Chrissy, wasn't in this episode, so it was awesome. And so they find out, and they're like, our grandpa basically runs the DOD. Ran, past tense, they don't say that. But, Sam's there, and they get some information, and Lois, Sam, and Jordan go, and Lois and Sam find where they're moving the drugs, the X, and there's a dude who has powers, who's inhaling, and, he kidnaps, ties up Lois and Sam, and I think my favorite part is she just kind of whispers, Jordan, if you can hear us, we need you. And he
busts in and saves his mom and grandpa, and the dude like uses his heat vision, and Jordan just kind of like watches it and steps to the side and watches the heat vision and goes, huh? And then
yeah, his real super speed finally kicked in.
So like he's getting more and more powerful. It's awesome.
Yeah, it was a pretty awesome scene, him coming to the rescue. I like him saying, "You have to activate Jordan." That was pretty cool. I like their exchange. She's like, "That knot will only keep getting tighter if you keep struggling." He's, how many times have you been tied up? And she says, "You'd rather not know, or it's better if you don't know." But yeah,
I would have liked that she was
Jordan
like, Clark was a Boy Scout.
That's an HBO Max joke. I don't think that flies on the CW.
Oh no, we can get away with it.
Oh, that's funny. I will admit I thought of something similar.
Oh, yeah.
That was way better, I thought about the same thing.
I looked at Jania, just gave her like the smile and the wink, like, because I won't watch the show without Jania. It's not fun to watch it without her. And she goes, "Did you watch the episode without me? It's been a while since you said anything." And I was like, "Babe, I haven't watched without you. I wouldn't do that. Just there isn't a new one, so we have time." So I told her, like,
right.
We have time. We've been busy with life. Like, we have time.
Yeah. The breaks have been helpful in that area.
I mean, yeah, considering with the whole family trying to fight the flu and fight the forces of darkness. Yeah. But that was hilarious. And then the last like big thing of note that happened in the episode was John Kent was walking Candace home and gets kind of a headache and decides to turn around and head home. And we see Jordan and Lois on the porch. Then all of a sudden this figure comes walking up and it's John. But they're like, wait, it's not our John. And it's very 90s Connor Kent looking John like we saw in leaked photos. And he's from...
Yeah, I mean, all we get to see in this shot is him come up with a little bit of the slicked up hair and the leather jacket. We've seen some behind the set photos that it's very, very much 90s with a little mixture of the t-shirt and jeans days.
Yeah.
But yeah, the suit was very 90s, and actually kind of I'm pretty interested in seeing what happens there.
Yeah, because he says, Superman was too late. And I told Janine, I was like, what's interesting is he's not real pale white like Bizarro was. So I'm kind of curious to see what full on, like, because the next episode is supposed to be all Bizarro world. So I'm curious to see what that's going to be. But I liked that episode. It was good.
Yeah. We get the closing shot is he says he's too late, and then it shows Superman on the ground in Bizarro world looking at something flaring up, and then we get the Superman logo.
Dun, 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 dun. I don't know what that is. I just thought it was cool. So, but yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, good episode. It kept my attention the entire time. And all without Superman.
Yeah, I mean, the whole cast is a great cast that, as much as I love, Tyler as Superman and everything he does, and having Jordan do his little Smallville story helps. So I enjoyed it.
Yeah, thoroughly still enjoyed it. I still don't, I still don't really have any complaints about the show.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm liking everything they're doing. Some of like the rescue shot, the plane rescue shot where Steel flies underneath the plane and balances it out and then puts out the engine fires. Very very much a Man of Steel shot from the movie. If you recall, in the movie, there's a lot of shots where it's like a wide shot shows you what's happening, and then like a quick active zoom into the focal point of what's happening, like showing Steel. Very much Man of Steel cinematography in some of the news shots, the action sequences.
The show has a very great way of blending all Superman aspects, and that's why I think it's been such a hit with fans. But hey, if you like listening to me and James talk, we have an awesome Patreon. For $1 a month, you will get about 5 shows a month is what we're aiming for. We're going to be doing some different specials, but you'll hear a DC movie commentary. You'll get special reviews and segments. So it's definitely worth your time. And we just finished up our Zack Snyder's Justice League. We did it in 2 parts, based off the Blu-ray discs. So that
disc 1 and disc 2.
So that you could enjoy it and not be completely overwhelmed with trying to listen to us talk for almost 4 hours. Which we could do.
Yeah, because as we've said, like, and it's not even an issue for the movie, because watching 4 hours of that movie doesn't even feel like watching 3 hours of the Batman.
Yeah.
You know?
You have so many.
But to actively actually carve out that 4 hours is the only issue.
Yeah, the thing with the Batman is it's one character and it's like one perspective. In this, you're kind of, you have a lot of different characters, a lot going on, so it's a little bit easier. But check it out. Check us out on all of our social media. Hit us up if I said this. I'm on the upcoming episode of Digging for Kryptonite. You'll hear me. If any listeners are interested in podcasting, what the heck is that? And you want to be on an episode and give it a try and talk with us, shoot us a message. Reach out to us through any of our social media. We'd love to talk to new people. So remember, James has an awesome beard and it's good looking. Good night, everybody. Remember.
Look up in the sky.
We just want to say, if you've enjoyed this podcast, please check out other podcasts on the Press Play Podcast Network. But also, if you love Superman and DC Comics, please listen to the following: The Last Sons of Krypton, Superman the Animated Podcast, Holy Batcast, The Geek of Steel, Digging for Kryptonite, The Aspiring Kryptonian, The All-Star Superfan Podcast, and Superboy the Legacy Podcast. Enjoy.